Your little mic protector's coming off a little bit.
Oh well.
Get your mic condom on there.
My mic fuzzy. I'll put it down here so you don't have to look at it. So yeah, looks like we're gonna be live soon, and then it'll like be really loud. It's usually what happens.
Oh,
Um, so I'm like a little. Oh, let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Put it down here so you don't have to look at it. Shut up, us.
Yeah. Well, I guess an interesting fake news thing was that guy attacking the press pool in
yeah, I saw like part of a clip of that.
Yeah. What happened there? Was it fake news there, Steve?
no, it was just that the guy was believing that the media was the enemy. I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
Trump had I guess like been calling out the media
Hmm.
immediately before that, and
Yeah.
basically I think he incited the guy and then, you know, half-ass cheered him on, you
Right,
know.
right.
Yeah. Even said he's one of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did notice some of the crowd didn't seem to get it though. I saw some people going the thumbs down thing, but I don't think they all understood that that's what the guy was doing, was attacking the media. So I thought that was interesting. I thought they were all been cheering him as he was being dragged out.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think maybe they thought that he was like some lefty or something, and but I don't know why. Like they would think that if he was going after, like, going up on the press riser, like
Yeah,
that's stupid. But
right. Why would a lefty be attacking the press? That's very
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, well, they do, just not
Right.
in that way.
Yeah, not at a Trump rally. Usually they're getting removed because they said something that's not along with they haven't drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So,
I
but
was, yeah, I was trying to find the split screen that we saw. We saw a split screen where you actually heard, like, you see the commotion happening on one side of the screen, and then the other side it had Trump going like, "Oh, it's okay. He's one of us. It's
hmm
fine. It's fine." And it was like, dude, like,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
I think he's tanking.
Trump?
I think he's just like totally panicked.
Yeah, yeah. I also don't want to get too happy or complacent about it
Oh
either,
gosh, no. No,
because I
no.
think that's kind of what, part of what led to Hillary
Yeah.
losing.
Oh yeah. The
Mhm.
polls were out. It was ridiculous to imagine that Trump could win.
Like,
Back then.
matter of fact, I think that was the only year like that I didn't make Danny go vote.
Oh
And I feel
wow.
like I felt like I should have,
Yeah.
like, when it happened.
Oh yeah. We were all grasping it. What did we do wrong? What happened? It was a bad time. So
hmm
yeah, I'm glad that we're not resting on our laurels, that people are continuing to push forward and consider ourselves the underdog in this fight. I read an interesting statistic that 39% of Americans believe we're in the end times.
Hashem willing. Hashem willing.
Yikes. So I guess that
Oh.
explains Trump.
Yeah, I did tell you that I'm not in a good place today, right? I
Oh
did
yeah.
mention that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
making sure I mention that.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
2022 Pew Research Center. 39% of US adults believe the world is currently in end times.
yeah.
68% of Black Americans believe the world is in the end times, compared to 41% of Hispanic Americans, 34% of white Americans, and 33% of Asian Americans.
I
Wow.
find that super surprising. That's a
I,
weird,
I, re- I really do too.
that's a
Like that
weird.
just doesn't
Ah,
seem right. Like I get pessimism,
yes.
but I don't necessarily hold like a religious, you know.
Oh yeah, I can't make it. That doesn't sound to me. I assumed it was all like the Trump supporters because like they say a third of
Yeah,
it,
well,
right? I just I
I
totally
think
assumed
that
that's
but that
what it
that's everybody's assumption, but
was,
like,
right?
it's the number of black folks that surprises me a bit.
Yeah,
That's true,
It's
I
yeah.
like
mean, maybe it shouldn't because the black community is heavily into the church,
right?
Yeah.
you know,
Evangelical.
but like it just doesn't seem, like that would be,
Oh, well,
doesn't
Jehovah's
ring true.
Witnesses, though, there's a lot of black Jehovah's Witnesses.
Huh?
There's a lot of black Jehovah's Witnesses,
That's true.
and that is a death cult. So,
Yeah.
Is it? I have no idea. I
oh
don't know
yeah,
anything
they're
about them
always an end time.
other than they don't knock on my door at 7 a.m. in the morning. That's it. That's all I know.
They're in end times. They're always in end times. So yeah, that's a bummer. But yeah, that's very surprising, Steve. I did
That's
not
funny because
appreciate
that's
that.
2022 study, and then I'm looking around for anything more recent, and it says there's a is climate change indicative of the end times, and this is whatever PRRI is, but this is a 2023 study, and who the
Okay.
hell is PRRI?
Okay.
I don't know. I think I've ever heard of them.
Right? There's so many non-profit, nonpartisan organization conducting independent research, driving conversations, the intersection of religion, culture, and politics. All right, whatever.
Good deal.
It just seems like there's a lot of polling firms out there too these days, doesn't there? It seems like we've got like 800 polling firms.
Oh
Agree.
yeah, there's like a billion of them. Everybody's trying to figure out what the hell everybody else is thinking.
Yeah.
Agree.
And does it seem to you, it
Agree.
seems to us like it's sort of like a cottage industry, like it feeds the media and then the media in turn amplifies it. Like they're
Oh,
just,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And sometimes they apparently amplify like very bad data.
Very bad data.
Like I was reading the other week about, all of the polls that had come out of Gaza about the Gazan people's support for Hamas, and it turns out like they faked like 90% of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. They want to keep everything on the edge. They want to keep everything so dangerous or scary or weird, like Trump. Like they want to keep it so that everyone clicks on it. So nothing should ever be resolved because no one wants to that news of that day where, oh, everything went fine isn't going to get them the clicks based on their model. So they need it to be desperate and they need it to be like once they give one side, they got to give the other side. Once they give one side, they got to give the other side. You know what I mean? It's this weird, I feel so manipulated all the time.
Ironically, well, two things. I had two thoughts. I thought about this thing that I was asking the AI model last night
Hmm.
about you know like the relevance of like George Orwell's 1984, like, and the modern like dynamics going on, and like I wanted to see like just like was he really warning us about this, and he was warning us about so much more that we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know and it's just so crazy that like some of us can see it
Yeah, right.
but not see it.
You can see it, but you can't do anything about it. And no one else can see it sometimes. It's really hard.
And then the other thing I was thinking that popped into my head is a random something corporate song, like from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think it's called like Good News or something like that. I
Yeah.
can't remember off the top of my head, but
Oh, I'll look it up. But you can't remember the name of it?
I probably have it in here in my phone. I know that I have their album in here. Oh, they're still putting out stuff, huh?
What?
Oh, I said they're still putting out stuff.
Okay.
Uh, Good news. Yep, good news.
Okay.
Got it. You want me to play it or something?
Oh yeah, what is it? Good news? Who is it?
Something corporate.
Oh, something
sorry.
corporate. Sorry. I thought you were saying never mind. Oh, and it's from the and it's something corporate, some news. There we go. Good news. Yeah.
I'm torn between myself, my radio, my head. I wanna get up,
I want to be good, read good news. I want to read good news. I want to be innocent again. Ha. Ha 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 ha.
So yeah, that was the line that I kept having in my head when you were talking.
Yeah, that's what I figured there was something like that. Yeah, it's a weird time, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. How are you holding out?
I'm not today.
No, you're sad.
No. Yeah.
What do you do to make yourself feel better? Or do you just sit in the sad because it's just what you do? Sometimes you have to.
Normally I can laugh my way out of it. You know, today's just it's just been a little too much
Mm, yeah.
between like, like actual anti-Semitism like that I experienced just going out in the world to, the murder of our people to, the dismissal or mitigation of like our suffering and the things that have happened and are happening to us, you know, to the description of like murder victims as just being dead. Like they just dropped dead like of natural causes or whatever. They were just found dead, you know, rather than, being honest and being like, no, this vicious terrorist organization murdered these people because they knew that the IDF was close to finding them. You know, and it's just too much. Too much.
Mm.
So this piece of news is a lot for you to be digesting.
Yeah. Especially after, watching, the Hirsch's mother, you know, calling out to him the other day,
Mhm.
from just across the border and speaking at the DNC and like it's just too much.
And what can people on the who aren't like what can we do?
Check in on your Jewish friends. Like make sure they're okay. Like go bring them like some dinner or something like you would
Oh,
any other like people who are going through shit. You know, when you do hear, that, one of your Jewish friends, is encountering anti-Semitism, ask them what you can do. Ask them how you can help. Step up when you see it. When you hear about, the protest at Temple, at the Hillel, you know, find who's going to counter protest that or who's going to protect the halal.
Mhm.
You know, when, you see if you see somebody on the street and they're being harassed, step in. Like, don't make them have to bear that burden themselves.
right. It's never okay for someone to be experiencing random targeted
Like the other
yeah,
day, I told you about what happened last
at
weekend.
Panera. Yep.
Well, there was several different things that happened in like that very short time. On Monday, I think it was yeah, no, it wasn't Monday. It was Wednesday. I had to go take John to the doctor for his yearly checkup.
Hmm.
You know, and I was kind of excited about that because, you know, Dr. Cobb is like one of our Jewish, you know, extended family, and you know, we love to go see him, and I love talking to him about his family. And you know, so I was excited, you know, and happy. And we got off the trolley at 13th to go catch the 23, which is like 2 blocks away, if that.
Mhm.
And like some random ass, very large Muslim woman in a burqa who may have been unhoused because her burqa was very ratty started calling me and John a kike, started saying all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, conspiratorial stuff. And like I literally had to let go of John and like put the fear of God in this woman.
That's terrible.
But there were like 30 other people walking by at the same time
Oh.
who saw me and John
Right.
by ourselves and did nothing to protect us from that.
I'm sorry. That's terrible.
Just because I can, and because I have the physical and skills capability to protect myself and to put the fear of God in someone, doesn't mean I should have to.
No, of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And for every time you are approached like that, imagine people that like a father walking with a bunch of kids or younger kids or
Yeah.
you know who doesn't have that capability or is you know a woman even. I mean it's just it's amazing. Is this the worst you've had seen or experienced anti-Semitism in your lifetime in Philadelphia?
In
Or
Philadelphia, yes.
but no, but not in general. You've had it worse elsewhere.
Yes and no. Like there, it was different.
Mm.
Like I knew there were places I couldn't go
Mhm.
as a kid and as a young person
Mhm.
down south, you know, and I just didn't go there. Um,
Would you have been, it would have been dangerous for you though. In the
yeah,
South.
yeah,
Is that why
yeah,
you're saying it's worse
yeah.
down there in such a way? Because while
And
you have
yeah,
to avoid it, it's much more threatening. Up here, you
yeah.
weren't really physically, bodily threatened, but in a
Well,
way,
I'm also not physically bodily threatened because I'm in a large city and I'm a very large person who has a lot of skills and can fucking end you before I get my second wind.
so you did not feel physically threatened, is what you're saying.
Anymore.
Oh,
I
exactly.
don't.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think a smaller person, a person, you know, who's more meek or, you know, just not as physically impressive. I don't like that saying it that way, but like I meant like, you know, intimidating.
You shouldn't have to, okay? It doesn't matter whether or not you can protect yourself or not. The point, I think, is really that you shouldn't
I
have
shouldn't have to.
like, no,
That's
that's still
that
fucked
is the
up.
point.
Regardless of any of that, it's still fucked up, and your son shouldn't have to see that and be a part of that because that's damaging.
No.
So I know you're
And
trying
like
to be like, hey,
I'm
I didn't get hurt by this lady because I wasn't physically threatened as a woman, but still, it's doesn't really that's not really
it's not something that he should have to see and like experience. I
not something
mean,
you should have to experience. It's not something anyone standing there should have to experience. This is America in 2024. I mean, it is not it's fucked up. So
are
for
you sure
me,
it's not Germany 1924?
so for me, this
Are
is the
you
first
sure?
time I've ever seen people. Yeah, no, I'm not. More like Germany in the 1930s, right? But I'm not sure. Yeah, but this is the worst I've ever seen. Overt, you know, people like getting angry at some other people for not speaking the language, people being angry like whenever anybody's
Well,
like
I mean,
first time I've ever
I've
so
always
much
seen
anti.
that like, you know, with Spanish folks, and I've always like stepped up
Right, right,
when there
right.
was
Well, like I haven't always seen it. That was a new for Trump, and ever since then, it's like, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And now, it's just encompassing more and more different. It wasn't enough to be angry at black people and brown people. Now we've got to be seeking out Jewish people as well. I mean, it's just
and the irony,
and
the
women,
irony,
like what?
the irony is I remember, black folks telling folks for a long time, they did it for a long time, about their experiences and never being believed.
Mm.
You know, we've been doing that for 2000 years and nobody's given a shit when they did believe. Like, so it's just so
That's
weird.
part of it, right? It's that people go, oh, well, they didn't do anything to me. The
Yeah,
people say that are
I've
white.
never
They're
seen
part
it,
of it. I've never had it. They'll even be like, yeah, they might hate you, Jim, but they've been nice to me. And
yeah.
so sorry, and like as long as people can do that, which I'll never understand, I'm glad that not all people can do that, but still, it's amazing to me how many of us can do that. It's shocking to me. Like I still like after Trump, I had no idea how many white people were so fucking racist. I really didn't. I was in a bubble. So when
I always just
all my fellow
assumed
white
because
people,
I'm from the South.
right? And I lived 10 years in the South. I just figured it
I
was them. It was their problem. But overall,
yeah.
we're all in this. How would we not be? We have a black president. We talk about it. It seems a thing of the past. And then all of a sudden it's like Trump shows up and all these weird ass white people are like, "Nah," and they're like people that I know that should never, like I don't even, they're like so happy to be able to do this. So it's been a real revelation, and it hasn't gotten, I figured it would peter out, but I mean, it's almost 10 years. We're getting worse. Looks
I'm always I mean, I've always kind of just, known they were there and they were kind of baked into it.
like,
The thing that gets me is the capos. The what like a black person would call like the Uncle Toms.
oh yeah, the foreman, those people, yeah, the
You,
people.
you know,
Mhm.
that
Yep,
are siding
yes, it's
with
crazy.
the people that want us
The women
to
that
be good.
are the trad wives.
Danny,
Horrible, horrible.
Danny would make fun of that and say
Oh my
that she
God,
is a trad wife.
Mhm.
She's not, but
so
she,
submissive to my husband, and so submissive. Whatever he wants, I'm just here to make his life beautiful.
no, I don't. No, I don't. Not even close.
No, no. Careful what you wish for. We all learn. What are you looking at, Steve?
Well, I sent over a link. Unfortunately, my connection is taking forever, but it's the American Friends Service Committee about how to intervene when somebody's being harassed in
Oh,
public.
Oh,
what did they say?
It
that's
was pretty good, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and it's going to be a few more seconds, but it's interesting because there's a tip in here I did not know about. They also have trainings on here for how to intervene. They've got videos. But
That would be a neat thing to try to hold this winter sometime.
yeah,
Intervening.
it's called bystander intervention. It's a toolkit. And I always thought that too, because being a kind of a white person, it's always like, don't ruffle any feathers. Don't
Me
make
and you, me and you have different views of how things are supposed to be.
well,
I am
I'm just
I'm
saying,
a ruffler of feathers.
right. Well, speaking from the sunblock persuasion folks on my side of the fence, growing up Irish and German, it was very much like you never, you kept things,
Keep your nose down.
keep your nose
Stay
down
out of it.
because
Stay out of it.
because
It's just
as-
gonna turn on you, and
because
you're gonna escalate
because
it.
as white people, if you just let it go, eventually the system will say, "Oh, look at you, come on over here," and that way you don't have to get involved in anything. So that's part of
that
I think
too.
what this whole keep things polite. Let's not go. So I think maybe there's some of those people on the street walking by you. Maybe one or two of them were just like, "Hey, I was raised to just be a polite, don't get involved kind of person," which is no excuse. But I
Yeah.
think seeing this toolkit, it's like they do give you one really good one, which caught my eye. First off, they say make yourself known as a witness. And then they also say four Ds: distract, delegate, direct, and delay. And one of the distractions, which I thought was interesting, an example,
Naked.
come over, ask for
Take your shirt off.
ask for directions and actually spill your drink or something like
Oh,
that,
close.
or pretend you know one of the people. Hey, how you doing, Joe? I didn't know that was you. Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong person.
Spill your drink
But the-
on them, hopefully.
But the distraction is, to me, a great way of sort of using a little bit of theater to be like, to diffuse
So
the
how
sort
would
of
you do
one-on-one person. I
Would
don't
you
know.
spill
I'm
it?
just saying, thinking like that, or just coming over and pretending you know the person, like, hey, how you doing? I remember seeing you from wherever. I don't know. To me, if you're thinking that before this happens, you might have that in your back pocket. For me, if I see this on the street and I don't have these four Ds, or at least examples of how to do it,
I just
Yeah.
have
I don't know how to react to that. I don't know how to jump in and be like, stop that, without maybe escalating the situation.
right. So I just go, yo! I've done that before.
Which could work and maybe could not.
Doesn't.
Maybe could make it worse.
It does
So
make it worse.
that's all I'm saying is like this interesting. I like this. The link might be actually up if you want to share the screen, because
Which-
they have videos and things where you can actually see, like, okay, prepare yourself for these sorts of encounters you might see on the street. It might not be you, but it might be somebody you see that could use some help.
Like bad training videos.
No, just open the thing, please. It's not, I don't find it very funny. I like the fact that it's a very useful.
No, I mean it is useful, and I'm only laughing because
Yeah.
I'm still on the verge of tears. So
Yeah. All right. Well, Steve wants us to look at it. Here we go. Here we
No,
go.
I mean, I don't see how this is considered to be not useful. I
I'm
mean,
not
there's
saying
people
it's
out
not
there.
useful.
no, not at all, not at all.
I'm saying it's not
Yeah.
It's
useful.
absolutely useful.
Yeah. I like it. Harassment. There we go. I was hoping actually that there would be a funny training video that,
And it's the Quakers. So I always
Oh,
like the
oh.
Quakers. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it too.
Is the person engaging with the harasser or not? You can make suggestions. Would you like to walk with me over here? Move to the train car? Would you like me to punch him in his face?
That's
How do
my
I say that in
response.
your language? Let's
Yeah.
talk about violence.
I love
Yeah,
how
we
they
go.
say, especially white folks, don't police the tone of the
Yeah.
person being harassed.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa,
cool it
whoa.
down,
Easy,
man.
you.
Yeah, that's
Just
a
because
good
you're being
one.
harassed doesn't give you the license to go crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Maybe don't be so freaked out by this.
Maybe just roll with this.
Keep you both safe. Don't call the police. Yeah, good one. All right. But how about videoing? Where's videoing?
That should be on there.
That
You're
should
right.
definitely should be a witness, but
Yeah, that definitely should be on
do
there.
not escalate the situation. Get the
You,
goal.
you notice how they don't have Jewish folks on there though.
Well, they do in the beginning, I think, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
yep, yep.
Housing,
Arabs,
Okay.
Muslims,
Jews,
Jews.
everybody.
Okay. Now I didn't see
I mean,
that.
hate speech in general. I mean, come on, it's
Alright.
everybody's catching some, or a lot of people are catching
All
some.
right. So yeah, don't do nothing. Wow, that's what silence is dangerous. It is. Silence is violence. Ask for directions, spill your drink, pretend to know one of them, bring in a third party. Yo, Bob, store manager, club bouncer, anyone. Do not call the police. They keep saying that. Oh, by the way, and don't call the police. Respond directly to the aggressor. Yeah, that's the yo. That would
That's
be
the
my
yo.
yo. I've been like,
Yeah.
whoa. So we've done that before. Delay. If you can't intervene, you can check in afterwards. What does that mean? Follow them along? I don't think that's
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah, that would have made me uncomfortable.
right? Could you
Yeah.
imagine? I'm just gonna keep an eye on you, Corey.
yeah,
What's this weird lady following me? But actually, I like following up afterwards and saying, "Are you okay? Can I get you a cup of coffee?" That might be nice, right? That might be.
would that make
appreciated.
any difference? Would you just think it was totally weird through and through if they came up and say, "Hey, could
Yeah.
I just buy a coffee or something?"
Some
or
rando
get
white
you
lady
something?
just jumps up into
I'm almost I would have turned it down that day because I was in a rush,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but I will almost never turn down a cup of coffee.
Good to know. Good to know. So some rando white lady came up and was like, "I saw you got harassed. I was scared to say something because there were a lot of people, but I just want you to know that I'm sorry that happened to you. That would be it's worth stopping your day and telling a person that you think that would have made a difference to you."
Probably it would have made it. I would have at least known that somebody gave a shit.
Oh,
Like that was the most disappointing thing as we were leaving. You know, we had like an officer like, you know, ask us if we were okay,
Mhm.
a couple minutes, like later when we were waiting at the light.
Mhm.
But that was really it, like
Mhm.
they were just doing their job,
yeah.
you know.
I think with politics, people get so bent out of shape, and it's like, look, you're human. Like you don't have to be a political entity. It doesn't mean you're trying to tell them that, oh, I'm coming in to speak for, and there's nothing it requires nothing to be human. You don't have to know. Like you saw some an Arab person getting harassed. You wouldn't be like, hey, wait, have you been into Palestine?
Absolutely not. I would be like
Right?
all up in somebody's face.
That's it, right? You don't have to know their politics to get involved in somebody. When you see a fellow human being being hate speech, being harassed, being that's it's never ever ever cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get better at confronting that. You're right, Steve. We need to get better at standing up for each other, because that's the problem. Is these a few interlopers that feel bully that they can get in there, and they're largely insane. A lot of them have deep issues, and then the rest of us kind of just let it happen by being complicit. And look where it leads, and then just you carry it home, and that's not your fault. That's not It's bad enough that you got singled out, and now you carry it with you, and then it colors every piece of news that already is going to hurt you, but it just layers, and that's not
Yeah.
that doesn't help anybody. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It really is layers on layers on layers.
Yeah.
And like after a while, like like today, like, and it's very rare that I feel this way. I'm usually able to bear, it all, but like
Yeah.
the whole universe is on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can you do besides just talking? Sometimes I think that when you feel this way, sometimes it feels right to kind of let it sit on you until your body or your brain kind of tells you what to do with it.
I
Or
watched cartoons today.
Did you? What kind of cartoons? Ren and Stimpy,
No,
Happy Helmet.
Demon Slayer
Okay. little different.
and Superman.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
No classics, no Warner Brothers.
Oh no,
No, you don't go that way. Okay. All right.
not good enough animation, not enough,
Yeah.
the right kind of action.
No, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Might watch some Sailor Moon later.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's a lot. I mean, I can't imagine that it has an effect. I mean, you just can't. It doesn't just roll right off. It's impossible to just totally forget about something like that. There's that negative toxicity that goes with that shit.
And we're being fed it all the time.
And we're being fed it.
All the time.
Some cases
All the time.
It's so messed up.
Yeah,
It's so messed up. But we gotta fight it. Maybe we're gonna fight it. Maybe you'll feel maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
We'll try.
On the other shit that's on my mind, I saw recently, well, I spoke to some people recently, and apparently a young man was stabbed like 10 times in the Philadelphia jail,
Oh no.
Mm.
and the cops there did nothing about it
Oh.
until it was over.
Oh.
I think the guy's recovering. I think that's kind of my understanding.
Wow.
But this is right after, they were just hit with a contempt charge over the original suit
Mhm.
about the conditions.
Oh, right.
over there. I forget what it's called off the top of my head.
Right.
But they were just hit with like $25 million contempt charge.
Wow.
Prison
system, or
Yeah.
whoever's in charge of
Yeah.
the prison system. It's like is it private or is it?
No, it's the county. It's the
Okay.
city.
Well,
It's the city. This is Kenny's prison and Parker's prison
Mhm.
is this city council's prison.
right.
Does it predate Kenny?
It does.
Yeah.
Like it was getting better for a long time, slowly.
Mhm.
And then when Kenny took over, he put the last lady that just retired in there. And my understanding is that she made a lot of really inept strategic moves to close down prisons that were in there in the system, because they were getting old, rather than fixing them up and like, you
Mhm.
know, making the repairs that were necessary and whatnot in order to divert that money to contractors.
Oh, great.
The food
Great.
contractor that came in,
Yep.
the medical contractor that came in. Mind you, and this is why, like, these same people, like, the food has gotten worse.
Oh, how could it get worse? It was like,
So
I
it's-
had horror stories
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
What are they
it-
feeding?
The medical care has gotten worse. There's very little psychiatric care. And like these are places like where like if you're mentally ill, like that's you're
Yeah.
most likely to end up there.
Yeah, like 60% or something of the population has like serious mental, like learning disabilities, mental disabilities. Like this is terrible. This is and it was already super bad. And it was already horrible food, and they
Yep.
already had like what about the oh God, what's his name? The Mia, and he was like suffering from like like hepatitis, and they didn't treat him, and
It's so many, so many.
just
Hmm.
and this our prisons are a lot of people just dealt because they couldn't fight, right? So a lot of
No,
the
this is a lot of the people. Most of the people in there aren't even convicted of anything yet.
oh my
They're
God.
pre-trial.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Which can go on for years, right?
Yeah.
In theory, it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like COVID.
I mean, but certainly certain types of crimes can take that long. Murder, the things when you're charged like, like that can take that long.
Mm.
But you're also putting people in there like that maybe, got busted with some drugs or, shoplifting or whatever,
Mhm.
like in with people that are hardened criminals and murderers
And mentally unbalanced.
and mentally
Let's
unbalanced.
not forget. Yes, exactly. People that really
You
should
know,
be in some sort of a facility.
I remember back in when I was really reporting on things, hearing about like they put a guy in a cell that had been the guy that was already in there was like harassing other inmates or whatever, and like they put him in this cell with this guy who already had this,
Mhm.
reputation record or whatever, and the guy like raped him to death
Oh my God.
over the night, and like then he flooded out the cell to wash away
Oh yeah, why?
like the evidence. And that's when people finally noticed
Oh my God.
and like came in and did something.
Oh my
Not
God.
when people were screaming,
Right.
not when, and that's how it is. Like you'll have people like screaming to get help.
But everyone's screaming, from what I understand. I was like,
Not really.
well,
Not.
I've heard audio from prisons, it sounds
It depends on where
people
you are
scream
in the
constantly. Is what it
it,
sounds
it
like.
it depends on where you are in the prison. Like a lot of times it's not like that.
It sounded pretty bad.
It can be.
Mhm.
Like, especially if like they've been locked down for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days on end. And that's, kind of the only way you have to communicate,
Mhm.
or if you're in solitary confinement, you're already not going to get out for like,
Right.
maybe a month,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of screaming there. Craziness.
Mhm.
Craziness. And they can't, right, they can't vote. And after,
No,
can we vote
not-
afterwards as a felon NPA?
yes,
You can.
Yeah.
yes,
And you can vote without a home.
yes.
I just learned that. That was neat. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the website you had mentioned?
I
can't
forget.
remember.
We talked about last time. It was the coalition of the
Oh,
whatever,
right, yeah,
but I remember. Yeah.
Why can't we return the mental health facilities? What happened? I mean,
Well,
guess
because
somebody
we did
saved money
terrible.
somewhere, yeah.
They were horrible institutions that were hurting people. So we had,
Even with the mental health like facilities that we have, like it is so easy for people who need
Mhm.
that help to game the system and
Yeah.
get themselves out of it without getting the help.
Oh,
Mm.
I
that's,
remember, when me and Danny first moved back up here, like we had like an incident with one of our neighbors in our building,
mhm.
because we were staying in one of those old mansions up, the road.
Mhm.
And like the lady below us, like was seriously schizophrenic
Oh no.
and seriously obsessed
Oh no.
with our family.
Oh no.
And we tried everything in our power to get her help. We 302'd her, I think that's what it's called, uh, on at least like 2 or 3 occasions.
Right.
And she was able to get herself out of it every time. It wasn't until she tried to kill our landlord,
Wow.
like strangle our
Oh
landlord,
my God.
and she was a little old lady.
Hmm.
Like that she was arrested and like maybe got some help in jail. Maybe.
That's so terrible.
Probably
She
not.
doesn't belong in jail. She belongs in
No, she belonged in a mental health
Yes,
facility
of
getting
course. That stuck in.
treatment
Yes, yes.
until, she was well enough to do it,
Right.
for
Maybe a
herself.
halfway house or something the rest of her life and something. But I mean,
But like
do
no,
it.
like she was crazy, but she was intelligent enough and savvy enough
No doubt.
to game the system to get out.
Sure, sure, no doubt. And when they had rules that made it harder for people to game the system than people who were thrown in there by like their spouse who wanted to get away from them or family members who were embarrassed by them, then they were stuck in and they couldn't get out. All it took was a couple bad things that you did at some point and they could be used against you almost indefinitely and keep you jailed. So there was a
Yeah.
big problem. So they had to make these loopholes. But then these loopholes happen and then people fall through the cracks. But I mean, what at least,
Honestly, I blame the lawyers.
yeah,
for this.
right?
I have a lot of lawyer friends, and they're all gonna text me later, and that's okay. But that's who I blame because, like, you guys are claiming to help these people or want to help these people and to advocate for these people, but you're really not.
Just letting them out. They let
Yeah,
everybody out. That
you're
was their big
doing
solution. Well, off you
so
go.
much harm
It did.
to them
Terrible.
by not allowing them to get the help that they need.
Yes, it was like in the 80s when it happened. Remember? And there were homeless veterans everywhere. Like it
Yeah.
was like so like now there's
Yeah, they-
different. You see homeless encampments. But we were of the generation, I don't know if you remember, but we had like they were just like people on the street, like all of a sudden, tons of
Yeah.
people on the street, just like, I don't have a house, I don't have shit. I don't know. I used to have a house, now I don't. Like they were just, it was so sad and so just like just cold. Terrible. What are you looking up?
When did Byberry close? That was to me. the
Oh
big-
yeah, Byberry.
June 1990, they closed Byberry.
What's Byberry?
That's the Philadelphia State Hospital at Byberry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was when all the people just were let out that were like, well, you can't take care of yourself, but you can't stay here. Yeah, I gotta go home, but off you go.
Several investigations revealed that raw sewage lined the hallways, patients slept in the
It's
halls,
terrible.
and the staff mistreated and exploited patients.
Yeah.
So why isn't this being shutting down the prison? Because there
Right?
is literally the same things
Right?
happening there.
Right?
I've seen video smuggled out of there of
Right.
like feet of water, like 2 or 3 feet of water, sewage water.
Right? And you don't have to close it. Just fix it. Fix
Yeah.
the damn system. Fix it. You could have
Right.
fixed Byberry. Why did
Right.
they got caught and they were embarrassed? So they just said, never mind, we're out, everybody's out, we're just gonna close it down. And I remember hearing from the women that worked there, I'm sure they're men, but the women were so sad because they were so stressed and overworked. They did the best they could because they're health providers, right? So they were
Yeah.
trying and they're like, well, these people had to be tied up because they hurt themselves, and I was just sick about it all night and day, and all I wanted was the help to get these people the help they needed, but instead they got shamed and everyone got released and the place got closed down. It was just
Yeah.
tragic. So I mean, the same deal with the prisons. Like, you have the money, you're clearly making profit on this shit, so like, do something. What's wrong
And
with
it's not like there aren't like models of what actually
Oh,
works.
Right?
Yeah,
Europe.
right, right.
It's like
Yeah.
healthcare. 38 of 39 countries can figure out
32
healthcare
of
or
33,
something like, but we
The
can't.
complex beast that is healthcare.
But not us. Oh, it's too scary over here. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's so complicated. Jailing people no, like you pointed out. You go to another country. They get it.
Like well, even like the prison systems in like other countries,
Yeah.
like they're
Rehab
actually
them.
designed
Yeah,
to rehabilitate people,
right.
not punish people for the rest of their lives.
Because
Right,
those
yeah.
people are still citizens and they deserve a chance to be fixed and helped. Like they commit a crime, we'll give them a chance to put the, but here you feel like you commit a crime, you're no longer a citizen, you're no longer a person. We're disowning you. We're like the family that just
In a
put you
lot
right
of
out of
ways,
the
that's
house.
exactly how it
Yeah.
is.
And it's
You
fucked up.
become,
Yeah.
a proverbial
Right.
second-class citizen.
Right. And it's weird
It's a
because in Europe, you're family. You're still family. They get that idea that like your citizens should be taken care of. Jail can actually take care of citizens that have criminal
And
issues.
even if some of these ones who commit heinous crimes
Yeah.
get sent to mental institutions, because I don't know, I would
Then we
think
can fuck with their brain.
no, but that
what I
you
want.
can become a study.
Yes.
You can become they can learn from what's going on with you to
Yes.
help track or understand or better help serve people who have that similar
Dude,
condition. It's
Dude,
like
they can Silence of the Lamb shit and give them
Yeah.
like virtual reality and then let them creep around and try to like kill people and then learn from it. You know what I mean? They
that
can
that wasn't
totally-
that wasn't Silence of the
No,
Lambs,
no,
I
but
don't think.
they were, but no, but she was like going
Wasn't that like The Cell or something?
eventually the cell, but the same idea. Like it doesn't have to be like real, but I'm just saying like in Silence of the Lambs, she had to go to him and because he's a serial killer and he could tell her what the guy was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
So it's like the same idea where the FBI can learn from serial killers by just giving them not like necessarily the cell. They don't have to plug him in like that. But I mean like honestly like a game. Like here you go. We designed it like a Grand Theft Auto, but instead your goal is to find people to murder. Go for it. And like let them find people virtual and you learn off that. You see what they do and how they hunt and then you can use that to find them. Like
That's a
I
lot
love
like-
that.
I was thinking
I
more
like-
along the lines of education
That
and like
too.
employment opportunities,
I bet-
like
Although-
real
although-
employment
although
opportunities
some
after they
people
got
are-
out.
Although some people are fucked up for like life.
This is true.
Yeah, but yes, employment opportunities definitely. And who says that a serial killer can't be like good at something from jail?
You can work in the
You
garden.
know, or
Yeah,
planning
you like
children's
gardening?
parties.
Planning children's parties.
Let's not and say we did.
But I guess for me, the reason bringing that up is just to be more
I'd like that.
to be more kind to people that are considered like, like you've got a terminal mental illness, it's never going to get better, or you can like study it and maybe one day it can make it better. But at least you can learn more about the people who have this similar
Yeah,
illness and make
And
the
look out for
society
it.
better.
and look
Yes.
out for it,
And not just throw somebody in a cell with no
to rot
to rot.
with
Yeah.
no reason, get
Right.
nothing out of them.
Right.
At the very
Right.
least, yeah. And then you have their brain. You can give it to like some scientists to look at. Maybe they see lesions or something in some area of the brain. Like I don't know, map it.
Mhm.
Learn. No, none of us is wasted. I hate the idea that we just turn our backs on people if they commit a crime. They're suddenly no longer a person. But yet Trump commits all the crimes he wants.
All the crimes,
All
not
the
just
crimes.
some crimes,
And then
all the
Marjorie
crimes.
Taylor Greene goes, she's like on the radio the other day, she goes, yeah, well, I know somebody else who was convicted and he died on a Roman cross. And Steve and I are like, is that like what we're supposed to do to Trump now?
Is that a suggestion?
Like, as if that, I'll give that a whirl.
I would have traded Jesus for him.
Right? I
For
don't know. I can see that working.
You need a lot of wood to hold them up, but
It's a
definitely,
badass.
yeah.
I don't know if we all really want to see that, but
You'd have to wear the tunic. Do you have to wear the tunic? Could we just
no, let's not. Let's
let's
not.
put you in the 3-piece suit? His tie will be down
The
there.
10-foot tie. Yeah.
People underneath it looking up at him. Ties just in your face.
Ay.
I know.
All
I
right.
know.
Well, maybe we should
We can wrap this up. I
cut
know.
cut on the
we'll get-
crucified.
on that
Trump-
note of
yeah.
Trump crucified.
It's
and
a happy thought we can all leave with.
what was the thing someone said? I will never I'll never give a thumbs up. I would never give a thumbs up over someone's grave unless someone lives long enough or something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you hear? Yeah, I know you guys heard about the Trump incident at Arlington.
Sure.
Like, and then he tried to deny it and like say that the person that was working there was crazy. Like, what a fucking piece of shit.
Right? And you're in the military. Isn't it crazy to think that the army would actually come out and make a statement, like just to have to feel they had to go like
Like, it's crazy that they felt like
Right?
they had to do that.
because they're gonna dox the bitch. I mean, it was crazy. They were really going for it. They were gonna go after this poor woman. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Like, yeah, like
No,
this is just, some schlep, who got stuck with this duty,
right? Doing her best.
doing her job,
Yeah.
for like the most honorable of reasons, like to protect
Yeah.
the dignity
ground.
of fallen soldiers.
Yeah. And it's only fair. It's wrong for somebody to go there and make it partisan because you don't know how they feel. You have no
Yeah.
idea. You're assuming that you know how that person would feel. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's not what the cemetery's for. It's
Well,
for
that-
reflection. It can ruin somebody else's time looking over and seeing his fat ass parading around with a wreath. We don't need that.
Well, then they
shit.
also, the other two levels that I thought were interesting. The first one was blaming the families. He eventually worked his way down to that, oh, I don't know anything about this.
They
that,
let
and the
me
other.
in. They
But
told me
maybe
to do it.
maybe they shared the images. Maybe they shared this and that.
No,
Oh,
no, it came from your
Oh, yeah.
campaign,
Yeah, it
motherfucker.
totally did. It
That was
totally
your campaign. Nobody else would be greasy enough to fucking share that fucking video like you greasy piece of shit.
And he was literally like, it's not like I made a commercial or anything. And there was,
Then
like,
but you literally made a
out.
commercial.
It was already out when he said it.
Did it was
Yeah,
it?
it was already out when they said it. So he's like, "Oh, come on. Oh my God. And then what were the
the
second
other
one?
one was that they were actually going to put it out as though Biden and Harris declined the invitation to place the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Yeah.
And I thought, you
That piece of
gotta
shit.
be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
You know damn well that that's not true.
That's another
and-
level of horseshit. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Really
yeah,
was.
Yeah.
But the good news is that this whole stunt has just backfired, right? And it's all just negative news constantly. So
Yeah.
way to go, idiot. Like he's lost his riz, man. He's lost it. He doesn't know.
I never thought he had any, but
No.
He had some with the media. He had some facility. He was able to say what he needed to say, and so that the people that projected on him got what they were looking for. But now he's like the whole abortion thing. Oh, I'm gonna deny. Oh,
that was crazy.
doesn't know. 24 hours, two opposing opinions.
I know, right?
But trust him. Trust him.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh well. I hope you're feeling better. I hope.
No, but
Maybe
I did have some fun. So
Okay.
good.
Well,
Good
I'm
people.
glad.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
all right. Sorry,
Okay,
I've been
Saturday,
such a
yeah.
downer day today.
No, that's all right. If we had if we had a contributor budget worth our salt, we would certainly send you a fruit basket or something.
And if any viewers are out there, I'm sorry that I'm just not in it today.
No,
it's okay.
You guys deserve better from me.
no, we deserve truth and reality and authenticity, and that is what you got today.
They don't come here for that. They come here for my funny, if they come at all.
Corey's got no riz today.
Corey's got no ring. He's losing his ring.
He's losing his riz.
Let him cook. All right. I'm sorry.
The kids are all cringing. Yeah.
I know they are, and that's
Oh
the
God, they're like,
greatest
please
thing.
stop.
God, who are these?
Please stop. Skibbity. No, stop. All right.
I still don't know what that is, but skibbity.
On that, yeah.
On that note,
Skibbity
skip
toilet.
toilet.
All right, guys.
All
Bye,
righty.